Alright guys, this is part 2 on what to side in and out on in Eatos against different matchups. So we'll start out with Frog Monarchs and Infernities. They're basically the same way. They need the graveyard to work well because Frog Monarchs win because of Treeborn Frog, and Infernities win because of the ability to spam both Necromancer and Archfiend's effect, as well as Launcher, which Launcher needs monsters in grave to work well. Archfiend needs to be sent to grave to work well, and Necromancer has to have monsters in grave to work well. So, also Frog Monarchs need Treeborn, obviously. So here's what you're going to be siding in against Frog Monarchs and Infernities. You're going to want to side in, now this is with my deck anyway, the way my deck is played out. I believe I've kind of perfected the side decks, like Skyscraper I'm iffy because I haven't tried it out yet, but, so we have Eatos, you want to side in. You also want to side in Soul Release to get monsters out of their grave and to make the Eatos more alive. You want to side your 2 Grand Convergences because you're siding your last Macrocosmos. And even though it could be a little risky, a lot of them do run Burial and stuff like that, so you put in the extra Oppression. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards we're siding in. So let's go ahead and go to the main deck and take out some stuff that might not be as helpful. Now obviously this is going to be game 2, so out of the, what do we got here, 6 cards? Sorry, I have really bad memory sometimes. So we got 6 cards we're taking out. You can take out, first you can start by taking out your 2 Starlight Roads. Most of them run under Geki Breaks, and if they do run Heavy Storm, they're probably not going to use it game 2 because they have to set all their stuff, and if they Heavy Storm, they're going to knock out all their back rows and be really vulnerable unless they top an Archfiend. So you can side out that. You can side out one of your bottomless trap holes, surprisingly. It can stop an Archfiend, but the Archfiend still gets the effect, I'm pretty sure. I don't know exactly, but I'm pretty sure that's how that works. Archfiend still gets his effect, so his ability is already hindered there. And they're going to probably Mistworm you and all that kind of stuff, so you don't really need all 3 bottomless. Another card you can side out, we Scrap Iron Scarecrow. Like I said, they're going to Mistworm you if they try to get the Infernity OTK off, so it's not going to stay up on the field anyway. Let's go for... Now, one of the cards that you would think you'd want to side out would be DD Survivor, but it's actually constant field presence, and you really need field presence against, what's it called? Sorry, for Mistworm, sorry, because they're going to try to bounce all your cards, and next turn you can summon it, attack, kill something small like an Archfiend, ram into an Archfiend, it comes back at the end phase, so it's really good. So far we got 4 out of the 6 cards. Some other cards that you might want to consider possibly, you want to keep the second bottomless in. You could possibly go Mirror Force because, like I said, Mistworm's going to bounce it back more than likely anyway. Another thing you could possibly consider would be, since you're siding in another monster, you could side out the Rhoda. You could also possibly side out one of the Gravekeeper Servants because, like I said, they're probably going to bounce the card back with Brionic or whatever else before you're able to do anything. You will also side out Morphing Jar. A lot of people are questionable about this because you would think it adds cards to their hand, but yes, it adds cards to their hand, and if they have a full back row, they're kind of screwed and they can't pull off their effects, but if they're going for the OTK, they've probably already pulled it off multiple times, and they're just relying on Synchros now, and the Synchros don't need cards in hand. So adding cards to your hand is good, but adding cards to their hand when they've already got the OTK already pulled off is not that good. So those are your options. These are your main 4 cards you're going to side out against Infernities. The other 2 are, you could pick one of the choices like that I said. So we'll go ahead and put these back in the deck. And we'll go ahead and move on to Blackwings. Now Blackwings is one of the harder matchups for this deck for the simple fact that it doesn't need the graveyard and it can get around a Royal Oppression. So not only that, but it can also get around Skill Drain. So your main anti-meta cards, it can play around, it can just dance around it like, you know, nothing. So all of your macro stuff is pretty much going to be useless against this deck. So what you're going to want to side in against Blackwings, because game 2 they're going to side out your Royal Oppression, or their Royal Oppression, because obviously they don't need it. So Blackwings, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to side out all the stuff that isn't all that helpful or that benefits them. So your side in cards, you're going to side in 2 Cyber Dragons. You're going to side in the next Crusader, or the 3rd Crusader, I'm sorry. You're going to side in your 2 Honest to combat their Kalutes. You're going to, I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm doing with that. You're going to side in the 2 Thunder King Rayos. You're also going to side in the Skyscraper, because although I am testing it, it seems viable because it makes, even if they drop a Kalute on your Alias, it's still going to be hard for them to get over Alias, and you're only going to probably take the 1,400 damage that you originally were taking, or 400 damage, I'm sorry, because Kalute adds 1,400, this adds 1,000, so it's only going to be about a 400 difference if there's like a Shura or something like that. And that's pretty much it. So that's most of the side deck there. So let's go ahead and count off this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 cards. Now, with 8 cards you're siding out, this is a pretty easy setup. 2 Macrocosmos. 1 of your skill drains because your Barbaros can still use it. Your Royal Oppression, because there's no reason to run it. The 3-dimensional Fissure, because same reason as Macro, there's no reason. And we've got 1 more that we could side out, but there also are more if you want to side other cards. The other card you're probably going to want to side out, obviously, would be the DD Survivor. That would be the easiest choice. Other options, I mean, I like to still keep the Eatos in because if you have first turn draw, it's like amazing. But other side out cards you could possibly choose that aren't all that helpful. You could you could take out the other skill drain as well. You could take out one of your Barbaros because you're only running 1 skill drain now. There's just a lot of possibilities that you could run. But this engine allows you to beat their Kalutes, even though the Macrocosmos and Dimensional Fissure would stop the Kalutes. You can at least beat them out with this, and you can get a lot more surprise factor, I guess you could say, in with this lineup, because against Macro, like I said, no one's going to expect Honest Game 2. So, so there's your Blackwing and GB side for the most part. The only difference in GB side would be you'd want to side in the other Royal Oppression. That's probably when you would take out one of the Eatos to put the other Oppression in. I'm sorry, side out both the Eatos to keep both Oppression in. And, you know, it just works. The only card I'm testing out of here, like I said, is the Skyscraper. But, I mean, it's all good. Now, the X-Saber matchup is going to basically be the same setup here as it was with the Blackwings. The only difference is you're going to add in the Royal Oppressions and this Future Visions. And that's when you would take out, like I said, the 2 Eatos. Royal Oppression because it can stop Gotham Z-Call, which is a really beast card to get around. And Future Visions because when they Bogart Knight, and because a lot of people aren't running Rakigura anymore, they're running the Bogart Knight variant. Or I guess that's not really a variant, but they're choosing to run that over, they're choosing to run a Bogart Knight over Rakigura now. So when they summon the Bogart Knight to special summon a Airbellum or a Faltro, or not a Faltro, I'm sorry, an Airbellum or a or you know whatever else they're going to summon to Synchro, and then try to special summon their Faltro, Future Visions is going to remove from play the Bogart Knight that they first summoned, and then that Faltro can't be special summoned until next turn because they don't have 2 X-Sabers anymore, and there was their normal summon. So it's kind of like the same way that it works in Blackwings. It just stops, whereas in Blackwings it'll stop Boros special summons and the Synchro summons from Blizzard. Against X-Sabers it will stop the Bogart Knight special summons and the Synchro summons from Full Helm Knight or Airbellum or whatever. Another note that you might want to keep track of is that Royal Oppression has to be activated to the card that special summons, not the special summon itself. So you have to like let's say you're gonna stop a gun, you have to Royal Oppression gun itself. You can't Royal Oppression the cards it summons. Just like Summoner Monk, you have to Royal Oppression Summoner Monk, not the monster it summons. If it summons Cat, you can't Royal Oppression Cat. Although you can Bottomless. So if they got a Z-Call and they target 2 monsters, let's say they target 2 Airbellums, I don't know why they would, but let's say they targeted 2 Airbellums, you can Bottomless and kill them both. So just keep that in mind. This has been Dimensional Eatos side decking. I guess this is the second side decking video I've done, but this is what decided in and out. So thanks guys, leave me your comments, and Dimensional Eatos for the win. Peace guys.